Hi everyone. Today we are going to talk about a very crucial topic of international business, which is FDI or foreign direct investment. Now, we all know that whenever foreign trade takes place, there is a trade of exchange of capital items, whether we talk about the technology or goods or anything for that matter, and also the money. So, foreign direct investment is basically an investment made by a person who resides outside India in the form of either capital assets or in equity capital of more than 10%. So remember, FDI is made by a person who resides outside India and he or she invests either in the capital assets of a country, okay, or the equity shares of a country, but the condition is it should be more than 10% of the entire capital. So on the contrary, foreign portfolio investment is the investment of less than 10% in the equity capital. So foreign portfolio investment is always below 10% in the equity capital by a person residing outside the country. The OECD or Organization of Economic Cooperation and Development defines controls as owing 10% or more of the business. Very right. Now, businesses that make foreign direct investment are often called multinational corporations or multinational enterprises. Often they are global or transnational companies, okay, and M&E or multinational corporation may make a direct investment by creating a new foreign enterprise. Let's say if Apple wants to invest in India, it can directly come in a country and start a new enterprise wherein the manufacturing or its corporate operations can take place, which is called a greenfield investment. Remember, when a company is starting from the scratch, it is greenfield investment, or by the acquisition of a former foreign firm. Sometimes it can also acquire other firm. Either it is called acquisition or a brownfield investment. Remember, okay. Now, what are the advantages of FDI? The first one is access to resources. So, FDI is also an effective way for you to acquire important natural resources such as precious metals and fossil fuels. Oil companies, for example, often make tremendous FDIs to develop oil fields. Okay, so this is one of the major advantages that we get access to other countries' resources. Now reduces costs of production. So FDI is a mean. It's a means for you to reduce your cost of production. If the labor market is cheaper and the regulations are less restrictive in the target foreign market. For example, it's a well-known fact. We all know that the shoe and clothing industries have been able to drastically reduce their cost of production by moving operations to developing countries. Yes, very right. Because the labor is cheaper in these countries. Now, access to markets. FDI can be a very effective way that you through which you can get an access or you can enter into a foreign market. Some countries may extremely limit foreign company access to their domestic markets. Acquiring or starting a business in the market is a means for us to gain access, right? FDI also offers advantages for foreign countries. For starters, FDI offers a source of external capital and increased revenue. It can be a tremendous source of external capital for a developing country, which can lead to economic growth. So, the main point over here is that it is beneficial to the foreign countries because it is bringing in a lot of capital. It will be generating a lot of employment in the country. So, eventually, this will lead to economic development of the country. For example, If a large factory is constructed in a small developing country, the country will typically have to utilize at least some local labor, equipment also, and materials also to construct it. So this will result in new jobs and foreign money being pumped into the economy. Once the factory is constructed, the factory will have to hire local employees and will probably utilize at least some local materials and services. So this will create further jobs and maybe even some new businesses as discussed. Okay. So this will mean that locals will have more money to spend now. Thereby, it will be creating more and more jobs, better lifestyle. Okay, more demand for new products. Now, what are the disadvantages of FDI? There can be disadvantages also. The first one is that it occurs mostly in the matters related to operation, distribution of profits made on the investment and the personnel. One of the most indirect disadvantages is that the economically backward section of the host countries always inconvenience when the stream of FDI is negatively affected, right? We all know that when FDI is coming into a country, then what is happening? Then basically it is they are making the people work at a lower cost also, and there is a lot of competition which basically arises in the market. Due to this, what happens, there is the compensation that people get, it reduces with time. Same is happening in a country also. There is a very less salary in private sector, but in government there is a lot of salary as compared to private sector. Now the situation in countries like Ireland, Singapore, China, and Chile corroborate with such an opinion. It is normally the responsibility of the host country to limit the extent of the impact that may be made by FDI. So country has to think how much FDI should be allowed. Otherwise, this will lead to severe effect on the lifestyle of the people in the long run. They should be making sure that the entities that are making the FDI in their countries adhere to the environmental governance and social regulations that have been laid in the country. Very right. And now the other thing is poor performance. Multinationals have been criticized for poor working conditions in foreign countries. Okay. Yes, working conditions are also not up to the mark because they are obviously wanting to reduce their cost. Expropriation. Constant political changes can lead to expropriation. In this case, those countries' governments will have to control or basically have control over investors' properties and assets. So when expropriation happens, then suddenly the company can close down because government will be a decider. They will have the control over entire property and assets. So this is also a disadvantage. This can happen anytime. Now modern day economic colonialism. Many third world countries, or at least those with history of colonialism, okay, we have been a British colony, worry that foreign direct investment would result in some kind of modern day economic colonialism, because we all know mostly the global companies are from the very powerful countries which have mostly not been colonies of any country before, okay, which exposes host countries and leave them vulnerable to foreign companies exploitation. Very right. This is true, but I believe that it's not true entirely, right? Routes for FDI. Now, what could be the various routes through which FDI can come into the country? The first one is the automatic route. Under this method, the foreign investors does not require any permission from the government of the country. You can directly enter into a country through fulfilling certain obligations. You can directly enter. You don't have to take prior permission of the government. Now, government route is through which you is basically the investor requiring prior approval from the government. Okay. Now, what are the limits in various sectors as far as FDI is concerned. When we talk about multi-branding, wherein we all know about various big showrooms wherein multi-brands, many brands are being sold under a same roof. So what is the limit on this? There is no permission for automatic route, but 51% is allowed through government route. Okay, 51%, up to 51% can be done, but with the permission of the government. Now, banking public sector, in public sector banks, if you want to invest, only 20% is allowed through the government route. Okay, now we have to ask the government, take the prior approval, then only we can invest up to 20% in government banks. Now, difference 49% is permitted, each through government and private automatic route. So for 49% we have to take the permission of the government, and for the rest we have to take we can directly import or produce, right? Now, what are the factors affecting FDI? The political environment of a country, very right. If the country's government is not stable, then how is the company going to run for a long time? So the type of government also has a very important impact on the investor's decision to invest. Now, demand conditions also, the competitors' tastes and preferences are very important. And economic environment, yes, the inflation, the GDP, national income also matters, right? What is that country's lifestyle, or basically the income level? Okay, so that the goods should also be sold in that market, now be able to sold in that market, right? So this is also very important. So these are some of the factors which are impacting the decision of FDI in a country, right? Now let us practice some important questions. How much investment is in equity share capital is considered to be an FDI? 5%, less than 10%, 10% and above, none of the above. So we discussed that 10% and above is always considered to be a FDI. Remember, be it in the shares of a company or through direct investment, greenfield or brownfield investment in a country, right? Now, how much FDI is permitted in defense sector through automatic route? 51%, less than 51%, 49, none of the above. So we discussed that 49% through each route, through automatic also, through government is allowed. So 49%, option C is the correct answer for this question. So this was all for today. Thank you so much for your time.